Hello, everyone. Welcome to Playa de Carmen. My name is Kelly Horn. I'm here to introduce you to the new stretching product that's on the market. It's a product that my husband and I started about 4 years ago and am now ready to share it with everybody. It's called 2H4. Right now, between my husband and I both, we have been in personal training and therapy for over 21 years, which is hard to believe, actually. So I wanted to introduce this because this is something that we have actually used a lot with so far, and we have noticed a huge difference in the mobility of our patients as well as ourselves. Being a former athlete, both of us collegiate athlete, and both of our kids very highly in sports, we've actually noticed a lot of improvement in how we move and reducing any of the growing pains and stuff that our children have actually experienced. And they're 9 and 11, actually now 12. My daughter just turned 12 yesterday. So 2H4, that's the new product. This is what it looks like. Comes into this bag. There are 2 handles that will come into the product itself. There's a centerpiece that goes into the larger shaft here. It is adjustable. So it goes for people they're shorter, a little bit taller. In addition to, there is actually a smaller version to this as well for our youth that are a little bit shorter than 5'5" or so. We're also having a lot of mobility issues. That would be a great product to start with and then move up into the larger product as the mobility starts to improve and your restrictions become less. In addition, there's a foot strap. It also connects to the bottom of the stick, and then you can actually use this to go through all the different fascial lines within your body. Now, fascia is a connective tissue that restricts a lot of our motion over time. It overdevelops, creates like congestion within our joints. It also encases a lot of our muscles, keeping it from having maximum potential and being able to activate the way it should. So this is actually the product that's going to help you reduce that. So you stay with me and I'll show you how to use it and get better results for your everyday use, reduce your pain, and just actually enjoy stretching. Okay, so again, 2H4, here's the new product. So I want to let you know kind of how to put this together. So you got 2 different handles. One has a piece inside of it that's part of our quick connect, and then the other one has a hole that you actually put into a quick release button. Then you have the centerpiece that goes into the larger shaft here. The larger shaft has adjustable holes in it so you can make different lengths. It also has a quick connect, release, and to get in a position to quickly put it together, and then also do a quick release. Easy to exchange the handle to the foot strap. So to start, you can go ahead and actually put in the end and maybe start at the smallest setting so we don't overstretch and just to get used to the product itself. Then take the handle with the hole, stick it on the other end of it. Push the push pin in, allow for that to snap in. For the other side, pull down, put it right into the hole. This one we can set aside for now. Later on, I'll show you how to use that one. Everybody always asks, what makes this different than any other stretching product that's on the market? And I'll tell you right now, the big thing is the handles. They actually move independent from one another. What allows for proper movement patterns to occur so you are not restricted because of the restricted motion actually within the tool itself. This one moves very freely, so when you're doing exercises, you're able to adjust your positioning without having to adjust your hand placement or where to reach on the stick. So it's nice and fluent, and you can go through different motions along with targeting a lot of those connective tissues that actually stay within a fanning connective tissue throughout your body. You can actually target all of those lines of fascia without having to stop and readjust your positioning. So it's huge when it comes to regaining a lot of your motion within a pain-free range. Just as a warning, If you have shoulders that dislocate very easily, I would make sure that you be very careful with this particular product, because it does actually provide the opportunity for you to create traction within your joint space, meaning you're able to take your shoulder and give it a little bit more space throughout the joint while working through the motion to avoid any pinching within the joint itself, but also to open up that tissue even further. However, as precaution and something to think about, this product allows you to create traction within your joint in order to establish more joint space, to reduce pinching, as well as to open up a lot of the connective tissue around the area within a pain-free range. However, if you are someone that is hypermobile or has experienced a lot of shoulder dislocations, I would really be cautious with this particular device and just stay within a respectable range, and maybe even go and talk to your physician to make sure that you're cleared for this particular product, because this can kind of push you through an end range that might cause some dislocation if you're prone to them. So be very careful. Also, this is a great product for post-surgical patients. However, you need to stay within your precautions that you've been given by your physician or by your physical therapist, occupational therapist. And this is something just to kind of take into consideration when you're working with it, because there's a lot of potential, but it can give you too much stretch if you're not careful. Some basic moves that you can do with this is just even while you're standing, go to the side. Again, you're only going to stay in each position just a couple seconds. What I want you to notice is I'm rotating my hand as I'm going back, coming back, and then opening up my palm. That's targeting different connective tissues throughout the front part of my shoulder and arm. One of the things I want you to take in consideration is we don't want to overstretch. The way to prevent that is actually starting very centrally, such as in a smaller, more confined, focused area, and then work out towards like the longer tissues, so towards like your hand or towards your foot. So you don't want to overextend too fast, going like too far up, and where you're going into an extended position where it's going to put a lot of leverage and a lot of strain on those areas that maybe haven't been reduced yet, or that connective tissue has not been broken up yet, because that could cause more pain or an increased amount of soreness. So we don't want to do that. We want to stay very central, go through movements that are very comfortable, as long as there's no pinching, there's no pain, just a little bit of stretch. Then I would say absolutely keep continuing through the motion as long as it's comfortable. You never want to stretch through a discomfortable position, because then your body becomes very irritated and it does the opposite effect. It could very much tighten up further to just prevent yourself from having any injury. But we don't want to put ourselves into that kind of a stress. So nice and easy with the stretching. Breathe through each movement and make sure that you're comfortable. This should be fun, very relaxing. To start, I want to give you some just general basic exercises with the step. So when you're here, you think of a dancing routine. You have somebody that's in the lead and someone that follows. Of course, as you're using this stick, it changes. But with this one right here, this one is in control. This one is actually pushing the stick in this direction. My hand on this side right here, my right hand, it's actually going to be on vacation. It's not going to be moving. It's not going to do a lot of work. This one is the one that's doing a lot of the work. The only thing I need this hand to do is just to do some rotation in order to allow for that motion to happen and those different tissues to be targeted. This one here is applying the pressure to where it extends that shoulder to give you some extra joint space. So if you experience any kind of discomfort, then go ahead and reduce the amount of pressure that this one is applying, so you can gently and nice and smooth go through that motion. And then once you're able to get through some of these motions without any pain in that shoulder, then consider putting a little bit more pressure through that handle and extending out that shoulder just a little bit so you can target a little bit deeper into that tissue. But until then, just kind of stay real basic and just put on some music and kind of move your body through different positions here. The big thing is play with the rotation piece, because you'll be very surprised actually how much of those tissues are affected just by rotating your hand around. So it's pretty incredible actually what your tissues are involving and how they make the difference just when you start moving around. This product alone will help you become very aware of your body movements, very aware of where your body is restricted, and how to make that better. These are great for athletes too, as they're moving through certain motions. We'll get more into that in other videos. Here's a move that's very popular with this particular stick while sitting, standing, laying on the ground. I'll go through a bunch of different positions in other videos for you and break them down. But I want to have you see how we're adjusting. You push the push pin in and you pull to adjust. Again, this will increase the stretch. So of course, don't start here. You want to start when it's together, work through the motion as long as there's no pain, then start increasing this motion or increasing the length so then you can target more tissue. Now, when you're in this position and you want to come up, and I've already know my shoulders are nice and even, I want you to kind of press through and go side to side. I'm targeting some of that lateral motion right now as I'm going from side to side. Nice and easy. I'm working on thoracic mobility, also from the anterior fascial line stretch, right in through here. But as you notice, I'm constantly moving. I very rarely hold a position for more than just a few seconds. Static mobility is good at times, but you'll find that you will get better results with dynamic stretching, where you're actually constantly moving. Our body is a being that needs to move at all times. We're 75% water. So you need to allow it to move and go through different movement patterns nice and smoothly. That's when a lot of the connective tissues will actually reduce itself and have better results with less pain. All right, I just want to give you some other stretches that you can do while standing. So different things as you widen your feet, even coming up and then coming down. My back just popped. It feels amazing. So right here, what I'm doing, if you guys can see, I'm bracing my elbow on my leg so it's nice and assisted. And I'm moving through the motion here. The best thing you can do is as you're going through these motion patterns, slowly just transition and see what's tight. I can tell you different places that are going to be tight. I may say, hey, you'll experience the stretch here or back here, or I'll show you ones that target that anterior fascial line. However, everybody's different. Everyone has restricted motions in different places. So if I have you do a stretch and I say, hey, you're going to feel a lot of stretching here. If there's other areas that are actually tighter here, you're going to feel them first. Our body's going to actually feel the restriction and the stretch somewhere that's limiting that motion before maybe the area that we're initially trying to target. Listen to your body. Let it tell you exactly what it needs. You might have an idea that you're going to go here, but your body's going to tell you something different. Go ahead and listen to it. So as you're following through and you find that that's the stretch or if that's an area you need to target on, stay with it, kind of work through those those motions, kind of working those areas and just slowly move into them and then slowly move out, focusing on your breathing. Don't go in fast or come out fast because your body won't handle it well. It's going to reject and it's going to tighten up. Then comes some discomfort with the shoulder or maybe even some inflammation due to the reaction that your body has with it. So nice and slow as you're moving through it. And I challenge you as you're moving through, try different positions with your legs, side to side. Maybe drop one back and lift further up. as you're coming through here and here. You know, if you got right here, working on rotator cuff stretching. Play with the motions. Up, back. Get to know your body some and have fun with it. So ideally, when you're sitting and you're using a chair to stretch with, I would really prefer that you do something maybe without armrests. However, at the beach, I don't have a stool, so I apologize. But I would actually use a chair that does not have armrest if it's safe for your patient or for you to sit on a chair without armrest, and then definitely sit at the very edge so you have less restrictions on your movements. Again, here, I'm going to drop this down a little bit into the main stretch. Good. All right. So what I want you to do here, here we go. What I want you to go here, same idea as if you were to have standing. A lot of the same motions. What you can do is you can actually get a little bit more into a position where you have a ball or something back behind you that you can actually lean against that's going to promote coming up and over, or even putting an elbow on your arm, especially for those that are having range of motion issues. As you brace your elbow on your leg, as you're coming up this way, I'm actually targeting a lot of those connective tissues very easily. I've done this with a lot of stroke patients too, and they love it because it actually gives them an opportunity to target some of those some of those muscles that are having trouble activating following the stroke. So because right now it's lying and sitting on that handle, and some of those more proximal muscles are doing the motion, and it's able to open up some of that joint and do more activation that they would be able to do if they didn't have the stick to support it. But even from here, I can lean forward and it gets my low back. I can lean to the side, and it's supportive stretching, so it doesn't create any strain in my low back, causing it to activate. Especially with myself, I have a bad back. I had drop foot back in 2001 because I have 2 discs that are completely blown. This is the reason why I developed this stick, is because I got 2 kids. I needed to stay flexible. So right here is targeting right down here, coming through. Now, this is just with my feet on the flat. So you can even come this way, and then you target even more coming through. Just the change of position changes the entire stretch itself. And you're also working multi-positional as you're working through. And then coming down. I encourage you to get experimental with this, so where you are moving all parts of your body and not just focusing on one area. Because our fascial line goes throughout our entire body. You have anterior, you got ones that are in front, you got ones that are back, ones that sit along the side, and you also have ones that wrap around. So you're working at some spiral, the ones that actually work with trunk rotation. So trunk rotation and multiple. But I really encourage you just to try different positions and just become familiar with them and experiment.